Here to present program promotion through social media. I was a marketing and communication grad assistant at Arkansas Tech during my grad school experience. And now I am the marketing and communication manager for the Elliott Student Union here at UC. So just a quick about me. Um, So I did my undergrad at Arkansas Tech University, where I got a Bachelor of Arts in Journalism with a focus in broadcast. And then I was late to the party in terms of looking for student affairs positions. So my assistantship fell in my lap. And because sometimes if you know people, they can make things happen. And so I decided to stay at Tech. They didn't require the GRE, and I wound up graduating in May of 19 with my Master of Science in College Student Personnel. And then my current position is the Marketing and Communication Manager here at UC. So what got me here? I was a member of Spectrum, which is an LGBT organization at Arkansas Tech. Had many leadership roles within there. Started as social media person for them, then became a VP of community relations, then just VP of campus relations. Doubled as community because of not enough people ran for office, and then I was basically a volunteer advisor. I was not officially on the books for it during grad school, but since I was still there, I stayed involved. Member of Phi Nu Alpha Symphonia, concert choir, and university choir. Was part of Tech TV, and during my 2 years of that, I was part of sports show, entertainment show, where I actually hosted the entertainment show a few times, and just the news side of things. College Student Personnel Association, Department of Diversity and Inclusion Advisory Board. I was an orientation leader my senior year of undergrad, and then my marketing and communication graduate assistantship. These are just me working with the camera. That was the other picture is me at a Pride Walk that I actually helped create. And unfortunately, COVID made them skip last year, but it is still a thing that they do down there, which is pretty awesome. And then that's my grad cap when I graduated with my master's. Which, fun fact, Dr. Bridgman here at UCM was at Tech when I graduated, and he hooded me because that's how they do it, and he complimented my cap. So, fun thing. So what I'm currently doing at UCM, I oversee the Elliott Student Union Information Desk. I help manage, and I say help because I have a grad assistant, and without her, my life would be crazy. The union social media pages for just the union and the bowling center. I am a co-founder of Pulse, which stands for Positive Understanding Learning, supportive educational. I always struggle at the end of that. And we've done 2 installments of that, Pulse W, which happened in March before COVID hit, and we did a Pulse Social while we were working from home. And I get to help Hannah Breedlove with some union programming. I am a volunteer for ACUI Region 2. Just finished some videos for them a couple weeks ago, and I am a member of the ACUI LGBTQ plus community of practice, and I will actually be helping put on a safe zone for them in a couple weeks. But yes, oops. Okay, you got one. So, what are the big four um, social media networks? And you can unmute yourself and like chime in. I can't see the chat right now, so.
Well, Facebook is definitely not one of them. I don't know. No one uses that anymore. I'd say um, Instagram is definitely one of them, for sure.
What's two more?
I don't know. I would still say Facebook.
I was only being yeah. I was only kidding. Is
Okay.
TikTok one? Because I know that's like a huge craze now, but like not everyone has one.
Um, Not necessarily. Like, yes, it's trending, but it's not part of not until
Uh,
somebody buys them at least.
I would guess Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and nope, I can't think of another one. Just kidding.
How did I forget Twitter?
Yeah, Twitter and
Oh, no.
like YouTube. I don't know if anyone uses Snapchat anymore.
I use Snapchat. Am I just old?
Like, I don't know if it's like huge anymore.
Snapchat is the fourth one. So basically, Facebook, for the most part, people use it to look at the past. It is an older platform compared to all the other ones. It is typically geared towards the older audience now. Crazy to think when I first got a Facebook account when I was an eighth grader. I think it was eighth grade. It might have been seventh grade. That was a long time ago. It was literally only people like my age or a little bit older. It seemed like, and then all the older people were like, "No, that's not cool." And now it's like crawling with older people. That's not a bad thing. It's just times change. And everyone seems to have one, even if they're not active on on Facebook. They just have it to keep in touch with those people who do have it. So Twitter is the second one. It's more for the present, in the now. People live tweet things all the time. This week was election week. Like people were constantly giving updates on Twitter because you can just sit there and watch it refresh on its own. And its audience varies. Like in my experience in higher ed, it's very more office related or figurehead related. It's because it's where people are getting their information from, whether it be from articles and you click on them or whatever. But there is the side of Twitter where people just like to have fun and post memes and stuff like that. But higher ed wise, that's not as common. Instagram, basically anytime people post here, there, everywhere. It is it's typically a younger audience, crawling with influencers these days. Um, but honestly, Instagram is the most fun platform for me. Even in our office now, we tend to focus more on Instagram because we know that's where the students are. They are constantly interacting with us on there, while the other two are, like I said, Twitter office related or figureheads, and Facebook is pretty much the alumni that want to know what's going on. And then Snapchat, that's all like the present. It is more of a younger audience. I personally do not like Snapchat that much, even though I still use it. But in a professional sense, unless you're like one of those big brands that have a sponsored page on there, to me, it's more just use your personal, see what's hopping, and then you can go and see what's going on. But yeah. So the first thing I want to talk about is so with program promotions, I usually think of these five questions pretty much. And these questions are usually answered during your planning process anyway on if you're going to follow through and do a program or not. So like what is the program? Who's your target audience? What is the program? Why is it happening? And when is it and where is it? So since it's just the four of us, let's just pick a program that is pretty much popular, whether it be homecoming week, welcome week, an Earth week, some sort of diversity week. We can even make up a week. But let's just take one and run with it. I'd like y'all to answer the questions, but I'm willing to put input in as well for this hands-on aspect.
Welcome week sounds good.
So, taking with Welcome Week in mind, who is typically the target audience for Welcome?
I want to say the typical target audience for Welcome Week is generally the new students coming on, so the freshmen, students that are first starting to go into college is generally who I imagine the target audience for Welcome Week to be.
Yeah.
And transfer students.
Oh, and transfer students. How did I forget that? I am one.
Because we're so heavily focused on first year experience.
Yep.
Those are all great answers because they all pull in to that area. So why does Welcome Week happen?
To get students acquainted with campus, to get them involved. Typically, Welcome Week, sometimes at universities, we'll have like a organization bash to get people involved in organizations and clubs, to create community.
Yes. And typically this happens at the beginning of the year or semester. So there's our win. And where?
Like a little bit of everywhere.
Yeah, I would say a little bit of everywhere, or at least like the main part of campus. So if there's like a quad that everyone is like the center of campus, the heart of campus is generally where I imagine Welcome Week to be.
Yep.
Yes. Can pretty much be anywhere. Like the Welcome Weeks I've been a part of, we have the Coliseum at Tech. When I was an orientation leader, we had our Huntington Bell Tower. It's not an official quad, but it's basically a quad. And just all these other places. Here, I think of the Union, the Rec, the Multi. I don't know where else because I've only been part of one Welcome Week here, and it was during COVID. So,
Holden Street is definitely one that they utilize a lot. They close off Holden.
Okay. Yes, I remember that. I remember that. There we go. Cool. So, attached media drives traffic. So, another open question. What media are you attracted to when you are on a social media platform?
Can you elaborate when you...
So, like, from pictures, videos, just simple status updates, articles, just any type of content that somebody might post, what are you typically drawn to for the most part? Or even think from the student lens, what are your students more attracted to?
I feel like short, sweet, and to the point and visually appealing is kind of what I'm drawn to. Like if I can get all the information that I need in under a minute, that's great.
Yeah, and then like if you can put information on like a graphic that is easier to like flow through instead of just like a paragraph explaining everything, I think that's probably more appealing too.
Definitely agree. Pictures for me is like huge. Like if it's like past events, like especially for like annual stuff, like looking at what you did previously. Posters, we love Canva. I do tend to watch like minute videos and stuff like that too. But when it comes to like paragraphs, I'm probably out.
Yes, I'm in the same boat. I typically watch videos, but if they're too long, I tune out if they don't get the attention within the first 20 seconds, usually, for me. Pictures, I'm always drawn to. Infographics, I'm drawn to. I will say to the paragraph type comments, I've started, and this is just also becoming aware of other people and like things of that nature. Like, I usually try to put some sort of caption in there, whether it be short or long, that explains the photo or the infographic or whatever is being shown, just because of those people who do have disabilities. They aren't always able to see that, or their computer reader or whatever isn't able to pick it up and read it. So it's just something that I've always kept in mind when, especially more recently, as I've become more aware and met people who have issues with that. Am I perfect? No. But I at least strive towards all that. But yes, attached media drives traffic. This is the type of comment or content that people are typically drawn to. Videos is leading the way tremendously. So typically, especially in my marketing and communication grad assistantship, we try to keep it around a minute, definitely no more than a minute and 30, to try to keep everybody's attention. And we wanted our information to be at the front, or at least one of our best video shots to be at the front, so it just pulls them in. And like emails and newsletters, well, that's more for email communication, in my experience. But those are attractive. Just images itself, like people are drawn to the images. And blog articles have been coming up in popularity. So if you can relate a blog to your event that you're trying to promote, go for it. Because you can connect it one way or another. Yes. So I'm just going to share an example social media calendar that I created. My first year of grad school is honestly my favorite one. This is what it wound up being in the final stages. I've looked and I've looked and I cannot find what it was originally supposed to be, but we have to pivot all the time and change things because you don't want your content to be buried. Like this week being election week, we kind of took a step back on our social media platforms because it was going to get buried from all the election news. So like you keep current things and like current events in mind because you know what your audience is probably going to be paying attention to. Unless you have something that can relate to what's going on in the world. But originally, I know for a fact I tried to do only 3 posts a week, so like Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, on this calendar, just to help promote and get people interested in the annual drag show that was happening on campus. And the Facebook event was created on 2 months, pretty much before the event happened. And everybody in the organization just started inviting everybody they knew on campus and in the area because it was open to the public. It was not just a student event. So we just had people like inviting them on Facebook. We did publicize it on our other platforms as well. But event-wise, we focused on Facebook as a general platform and like guideline to do it. So did that so people could put it on their calendars and know. We did 1 post in the middle of September calling for people to sign up who might be interested in performing because we did have a competition aspect as part of the show. So we wanted students to be involved, whether they performed as a king or a queen. And this is calendar part is for the month of October in 2017. So on that Thursday, the 5th, we did a last call for for anybody who wanted to participate. So we could have a meeting with them and be like, this is how we're doing our rehearsals this year and all that stuff. And we needed to know how many people we needed to bring in as guests to also keep everybody entertained for the night. We also revealed our theme. And then that following Monday, we started introducing all of our guests. We had connections from Little Rock who performed drag on the local scene in Fayetteville due to some alumni of Arkansas Tech who were involved in those night scene club scenes. So Dinah Housefire, we introduced her, and then Ab's Heart, and then we had Miss Gay Arkansas America 2017. Yeah, 2017 come, and she was actually a former winner of the drag show there, so that was pretty cool to bring in. And then Melanie, she was also returning because she used to be a student there. We welcomed a new performer, her first time performing on campus. Our flyer reveal. Um, and then we had our previous year's queen because we invited our previous winners, whether they were still a student or they had graduated. We invited them back for if they were able to come. So we gave a mini bio and photos of them. Same for the king. We announced our judges the very next day. And then the next week was the week of, so we announced all our contestants. We had buttons that we created in our, I forgot what they called it, but basically we went through student activities and they got like 200 free buttons per semester or something. So we created those. We announced our bake sale that has always been done with it. Then we did our queen contestants. We had a Snapchat filter, which was pretty fun, and we covered the whole, well, we didn't cover the whole campus because that was too expensive, but we covered the hopping, like the high trafficked areas of campus, just because, especially at that time, Snapchat filters were very popular. So like people would be swiping through there and then they would see, oh, there's a drag show tonight. So we just revealed it to everybody so they knew they could use it and help invite people that night. And then the day of, we had the bake sale at noon to help promote the show. And then the school paper put us on the front page to help promote it as well. And then it was showtime. But ultimately, tried to not have a post that seemed like day after day after day, because when you're posting in a Facebook event, unless somebody changes their notification settings, you're going to get notified that somebody is posted in the event. So it just kept reminding people, hey, there's something coming up. Stay excited. Keep it on your calendar. We want to see you there. But definitely didn't want to do it on what seemed like it was almost every single day of a week. Didn't want to do it on the weekends because everyone went home. So they're spending time with family. We didn't want to bother them at that time. But that's honestly my favorite. Last year, I don't have a calendar for me to share for it, but Holiday Market is an annual thing we do here at UCM in the Union. And last year we launched the event like a month before. So we started sharing it. Then we linked it to our press releases that we sent out to the area. And then it was like 2 or 3 weeks before then, we started posting what vendors were going to be selling at Holiday Market, just so everyone would actually be able to see who's going to be there. Not everybody sent us stuff to share, but we had enough to cover leading up to the actual market itself, and we spread it out, including during Thanksgiving. We were telling people, hey, save your money, don't spend it all on Black Friday. Oh, I forgot about this one. So this is all not necessarily an event promotion, but I had to do a special project during what's it called? Grad school that was admissions based. So we did content marketing, and it was basically, let's take the whole calendar year, and each week we're going to post something where our target audience were freshmen or just first year students in general, and it ranged from deadlines, what they can do to prepare for deadlines, cool jobs for different majors if they're considering different things of that nature, how to help prepare resumes and things for scholarships and stuff like that. And then this one leads into December at the bottom, so we were like, take a break, enjoy your family. So that was a fun project. But since it's just, so things to think about, diversify your posts and don't post the same content on each platform. If you have multiple platforms, if you can, like on the drag show thing, like I posted Dinah on Monday and Abs on Thursday, could easily flip flop them even on your different platforms. But if you just have one, it doesn't matter. In a different order. So like you can easily just shuffle everything if you have a plan. Facebook events, Instagram stories, especially those because they are very popular. Twitter polls drive up engagement. And being consistent but not overbearing. So don't try not to like post multiple times in one day unless you absolutely have to, because you don't want your to bury your own information, as well as you don't want to overwhelm your audience with posts. It's not like 2008 when everybody posted on Facebook every 5 minutes. That's what Twitter's for these days. And failure does not exist. So you could post at 5 o'clock one day and it worked fantastic. Your audience is going to see it and they're going to interact with it. The next day you post at 5 o'clock and they're not going to do the same thing. So don't worry, don't be discouraged, especially right now during COVID. Everyone's overwhelmed virtually from Zoom classes or anything else. I talk with my students and some of them are teaching themselves more than they want to teach themselves. So they're just tired of everything. So failure literally doesn't exist because not everyone's on, like they might be on social media, but they're not always engaging with the content that they see. So, yeah, so we have time to go over this for a little bit together. So going back to Welcome Week, what would be kind of a promotional calendar that we could do, whether it be like a month ahead or 2 weeks ahead? How could we tease all these incoming students to come to different things?
I think a month ahead would work, and then like hype up more stuff closer to it.
Okay, so let's just run with a month ahead. You have everything planned. So day one, let's say day one is a like involvement fair type thing. Day one is movement, obviously. And then like day two is involvement fair. What else happens? What else do y'all want to include? We're just going to keep it simple.
I don't know, I'm awful. I've never been to a Welcome Week. No one come at me.
So day three, let's just say we have a hypnotist coming in and they're going to be on the football field and everyone gets to fill up the stadium or whatever and watch. So like day three is hypnotist. These are all like stable events that happen every year. So get in touch with your marketing office, or if you're in a student activities office or something of that nature, or first year experience office, you have photos to pull from years past. So let's just pull a video or photo or something and just tease them once a week or twice a week, something of that nature, and just spread it out as you're coming. It can be set up as something countdown or whatever you want to do. You can take it from workers helping you out if you were allowed to have student workers over the summer that help manage all that. But just spreading it out, I like to tease people on what's coming ahead, no matter how, whether it be, I like pictures and videos better than flyers, and if it's going to be a flyer, like especially on Instagram, don't put it on the first slide, put it on the second one, and then they can swipe over and see it. That's just me. But yeah, that's just something of that nature that you can spread it out. So just to tackle real quick, engagement and analytics, these are things you can use, tools that you can use to measure success. So if you have someone above you wanting assessment, this is an easy way to assess what you are doing on social media. So for engagement, this is what the big companies count for engagement. If someone clicks on it, they count it. And expansion, like your whole post isn't shown originally, and they have to click on it to see more. Likes and reactions, comments, replies, retweets, shares, and quote tweets. Those are counted as engagement. For some reason, still don't know why, I wish they did. Engagement does not include people who answer your polls on an Instagram story or on your Twitter poll and things of that nature. Same for quizzes, the slide bars that you get to be like, oh, I'm excited for this, or oh, I'm not. The questions that people, like the question boxes that people give feedback on, that is not counted as an engagement. And quote tweets, it really just depends on the quote tweets, honestly. It's very, I don't know how to get into that. But reach versus impressions. So reach is how many accounts see your post, and impressions are how many times your post is seen. So I could see, so take for example, whoever runs the EPSA social account, they posted teasers leading up to the event. So let's just use mine as an example. So I went and looked at it once I got the link for it. I actually looked at it more than once. So my reach, me going to that post was only counted once, but every other time I moved on to it, the impressions kept going up. So that's kind of, that is the easiest way I can put that. And then the engagement and the views. So, and this is just an example of how I keep track here, because we don't pay for anything like, we don't pay for Hootsuite, so we don't get the analytics tallied for us by Hootsuite. And same for Sprout Social or other platforms. So I do it manually. I check it every 2 weeks, just so I can just throw it in there and be done. These are just visuals of how you can go find the analytics. So on Instagram, when you're on your page, you can go to the top right corner. Then you get the menu. You go to archive for stories or insights for other posts and stuff. So the third image is if you go to insights, you can see who's online, who of your followers are online, and at what time and on what days the most. And then on the other, when you go to archive and you swipe up on your stories, you can see how many times it has been shared, how many people have actually gone to view your profile, your impression count, and things of that nature. On Twitter, you go to the More button, and then go to Analytics, and then it just pops up all your in-depth analytics. There's also on an individual tweet, there's a little like bar graph type looking thing that you can click on and see an individual post thing. On Facebook, you just go to Insight from your page that you manage, and then it shows you all the other different things that you can use depending on what you prefer to use for your assessment. So these are my references. And then, oops, okay. So all of you, I assume, go to UCM, yes? If you do not already, please follow us. Shameless plug on that one. If you want to get a hold of me, there's my social media handle for all of my main platforms, and then that's my university email. But are there any questions that y'all have while we're here?
I don't have a question. I have a comment. I think you're doing the most by like manually checking and doing your own analytics. Like, good on you.
That's been a challenge. I've asked if we're able to and buy some, but it's right now it's just not feasible. So if I was a main university office, yes, I would be begging, like on my knees and begging, because the main university accounts just have all the stuff going on. But here we don't do like we do a lot, but we don't do as much as other accounts. So it's just easy. Like yes, it takes time, but it's not that hard to do.
All right. So unless there's any other questions for Caleb, we're going to wrap up. Does anyone have questions?
I don't, but thank you for all your insights, Caleb. It was really helpful.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you so much.
Thank y'all for joining.